Oh, that's not how you sprint. That's how you sprint. Is he... Don't see him. Of course, that doesn't really mean I'm safe, though. Oh my god, he's still there. What's going on up there? Horse riding. Trot is the default speed of a horse. Left stick and circle is canter. It's a good combination of speed and stamina. Left stick and double circle is the gallop. It's the fastest speed, but also drains the stamina fastest. Follow a path. Your horse is smarter than some people and will stick to the path you're on if you give him his head. Just begin cantering and don't steer him. Okay, so kind of like in The Witcher 3, when you're riding Roach around, all you had to do was hold, I can't remember what button it was now, I haven't played that in a long time. Just held a button down, and he followed it. Your horse's stamina indicator, it will deplete when galloping. If you try to push your horse when stamina is low, it may throw you. Oh, wow, that's cool. Excuse me. Uh, Galloping can be exhausting and can deplete your stamina too, especially if you're not an experienced horseman. Oh, that's really cool. I don't think I've ever seen a game where they've actually applied a mechanic to the horseman. It's always been just focused on the horse's stamina and health, and that's it. Because I've never actually ridden a horse, but I know that you don't just sit there. It can be exhausting to ride the horse all day long, especially at a hard pace. Uh, so that's cool. It actually affects you too and wears you out, and you got to watch not only the horse's stamina but your own. That's really cool. Let's You can call your horse anytime by whistling, but your whistle will also be heard by people within earshot, which sometimes can be a disadvantage. On the other hand, it can also be... Oh god, they're coming for me. Cavalier. Come here. Is that my horse? Mount. Go. Alright, so right now I'm just cantering. They're coming after me. I don't know why they're chasing after me. I don't know if they can... I highly doubt they're going to be able to catch up to me. Oh, they can. Uh-oh. Where are you looking? Bleeding. The wound must be bandaged, which Henry hasn't yet learned to do. You have to get quickly to someone who can help me. Holy crap. Discovered a shrine.
Left.
Alright.
Talmud is to the left, along the stream.
The left? So right here? Oh wow, yeah, you can...
They've torched Skalitz!
Oh, that's cool. He's screaming at people. Oh! Ow! Alright, yeah, pick it up.
Flee!
That's cool. He's warning people as he goes. I don't know how much... Whoa, what are you doing? Go, horse, go! Alright, so I got bleeding damage and my leg is hurt. Horse's stamina is getting
I'll
low.
kill you all.
Hey, get out of the damn road.
Run for it.
Yeah, there's so much that happened that I want to talk about, but I just can't at the moment.
Flee. Tower.
Ah, my horse is running low on stamina. Oh, it regenerates fast, but I am bleeding out. Oh! They're still there. I just watched like 3 arrows just zoom past my head. God, how much further do I have to go? I'm really hoping this... Oh, yep. Something leveled up before this.
Someone give him a drink. And bring hot wine and bandages. Tell me, boy, who are you and where are you from? What in hell's name happened?
I've come from Skalitz. They burned it to the ground. Slaughtered everyone.
Who? Who burned it to the
A
ground?
huge army. They attacked without warning. And they weren't Czechs or Germans either.
Who then?
I don't know. I've never seen armor like it or heard their language. Maybe Tartars?
Tartars, you say? Yeah. Well, we'll deal with that later. First, let's have a look at that leg of yours. Grit your teeth, boy. I'm gonna pull that arrow out.
That was dangerous.
All done. You were lucky, lad. The arrow missed the bone. It only needed bandaging, and I've done that often enough before. War is a good teacher. Can you stand? There you go. Good as new.
Thank you.
If you idlers nothing better to do, get back to work. You'll have to speak to Lord Divish. Can you manage?
You're good as new, but I'm going to help you get around because you still can't use that leg. Oh, cool boxer. Or wait, that wasn't a boxer.
Sir, this is a survivor from...
I heard, Robard. Tell me, boy, what exactly happened? Did you see the ensigns of the attackers? And were there any more survivors?
So, I don't know what army it was, but it was huge. There were dozens of banners flying on the hill above Skalitz. The ones who did the slaughtering spoke a strange language. They burned Skalitz to the ground, but a lot of people took refuge in the castle. I wasn't quick enough. And as I fled, they shouted from the battlements that I should come and warn you.
The soldiers the boy didn't recognize. They could be those Cumans of Sigismund's. It said they came to Hungary from the east, and now they're the core of his army. Sacking Gutenberg must have given him a taste for stolen silver.
Skalitz is a small castle, sir. If Sigismund attacks, they can't hold.
Indeed, Sir Robard. And our small garrison would be no help, even if we could risk sending them.
You think we're next in line?
Maybe. What's your name, boy?
I'm Henry, son of the Skalitz blacksmith.
I know him. Did he make it inside the castle? I'm sorry. It's in God's hands now. No one else can help us. Anyway, thank you for risking your neck to warn us. Robard, take care of Henry. Make sure he gets something to eat and some rest.
Yes, sir.
And get all the people inside the gates. We have to prepare for the worst. Make all the necessary arrangements.
As you command, sir.
All right. Objective started. Talk to Sir Robard. Or Robard. I discovered my bed. And a baker. But yeah, pulling that arrow out was very dangerous. Like in action movies and stuff, you always see. Oh. Well, he got full health at least. Stamina's still. Okay, so your stamina can be down, but you have to have debilitations. Like, I'm getting tired and I'm getting hungry. But, like in action movies, when somebody gets shot by an arrow, you always see them break the shaft off and leave the arrow still inside of them. I mean, they do that because the arrow, I'm assuming a lot of people know, but just in case somebody who doesn't, the arrow is designed that once it goes in, it doesn't come out. If it does come out, it causes even more damage to the body. So when it goes in, yeah, it could hit veins and stuff like that, arteries, but there's also a chance that that the muscles and stuff in the meat of the skin and your body's fat can actually push them off to the side as the arrow pierces. But then when you yank the arrow out, it hooks into all that and it just completely rips it and shreds it and makes it almost impossible to stitch up the wound and close it. So what would have been a simple wound if you had just left the arrow in becomes a severely dangerous wound that there's very little chance of you surviving from. Even something as simple as getting hit in the meat of your bicep or something could be dangerous because you'll bleed out. So that was pretty dangerous for him to just grab the arrow and rip it out, and then for him to sit there and say war was a good teacher. I'm like I learned that in Walmart. I didn't go to war to learn that yanking out an arrow like that's bad. I mean, I also understand that he could have learned a lot from the arrow, because there typically are different little styles with I believe there's typically different little small styles. It wasn't like they were fancy engraved arrowheads, but it was like some nations used slightly longer arrowheads, some used wider ones, things like that. So he could have been able to look at it and to tell, but I mean, he would have needed a surgeon to safely pull it out and to save your character's life, and he just didn't care, just ripped it out. Especially right there on the thigh, there's a good bit of veins and arteries and everything right there. It'd been easy for him to die from from a severe wound like that. But hey, the game saved. Can't remember if it's just saved again or not. But I also want to take a second to to look back on the fact that your dad is a badass in this game. He took out how many guys? 6 or 7 of them on his own while protecting his wife, unarmored. And the only reason he finally did fall was because that guy on the horse came up and slashed him from behind. I mean, because what was cool was when the camera zoomed out and it showed the guy on the horse turning towards your dad, there was guards, there were still enemies around him, but they were like hesitant. They were just standing there. They weren't moving towards him. Now, to me, that looked like they were looking at your dad like, man, he's fucking dangerous. I don't know about going up against him. Or, I mean, it also could have been they saw that their lord or whoever that guy was getting ready to attack, so they backed off to give him some space. But either way, it was a cool little touch. But not to mention, your father apparently has some kind of history with this lord, and the lord actually owes him a favor, which says a lot, because from what I remember, which is, I have a horrible memory, but the lords didn't owe the peasants. I mean, it very well could have been where if the lord was hurt and a peasant helped him, yeah, they owed him, but they usually repaid him immediately in some way, like offering him money, food, something like that. For them to have been apparently long-standing associates and still owe that favor, whatever your father did must have been a huge favor for Lord Radzig. So that's pretty interesting. And on top of that, without even mentioning your father's name, he's known by another lord. Now, it very well could be, I mean, these towns are close together. It wasn't too far of a ride to get from one to the next, but that's, our time. Could very well be in game. That was like a half a day's ride or something like that. I don't know. So it very well could have been maybe they had business with him or something. But either way, I mean, he's well known enough that he has a reputation and is known. So that's pretty interesting too. So really getting curious on who your father is and what his past was.
You've done well, lad. I'm sorry for your loss. You must be all done in. Why don't you go to the kitchen and have a good meal? Sorrow is easier to bear on a full stomach. I heard about your father. They say he was a swordsmith who moved to the countryside to make horseshoes. I'm sure he had his reasons. He had a fine reputation. It's a great loss.
Something to eat.
Milady. You're fortunate our good lady Stephanie of Talmberg has graced us with her presence.
My lady, I'm honored.
So this is our brave young man. Welcome, lad. Bojena here will take care of you. No doubt you're tired and hungry.
Indeed. How could he not be, poor soul? After everything he's been through, he must be as hungry as a bear, aren't you, young master? Here you are, then. Eat your fill.
And a little wine to wash it down.
Thank you, my lady.
When you're done, you can go and rest with the grooms in the Outer Bailey.
No, that won't do, Sir Robard. After all he's been through, he deserves a proper bed. Let him sleep in a lodge in the courtyard.
Certainly, milady. Young Henry here is overwhelmed by your generosity.
Yes, thank you, my lady. May God reward you for your kindness.
Eat up now. You're in capable hands, so I'll leave you to it. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, ma'am.
When you've done, you can sleep in the bedchamber of the courtyard lodge. And don't forget to take off those filthy boots before getting into bed.
So it seems that Sir Robard is thankful for what you did and is happy to repay you, but still looks down on you. It's not wise to ignore hunger. The longer Henry doesn't eat, the weaker he gets. If he fasts long enough, he can even die. Different foods have different properties. An example, an apple won't fill you up like a roast duck, but will stay fresh for longer. Some foods can be more effective for healing, which we kind of already saw that when I was messing around at the very beginning. Lentil mash. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up everything I can. Whoa, that was... Is that because I'm hungry and I'm tired? Now, see, the apples will stay fresh a little bit longer than, I think, than the cheese will. And I think the bread stays fresher longer than the apples. I can't remember. Here you. Get out of the way of my food.
Please, tell me what happened at Skalitz. I have kin there.
Yeah, you don't want to know, bro. And some booze. That's a good bit of food. I'll talk to you in a second, man. I need to eat before I punch out. So let's see. Oh yeah, you can see because I'm so tired and hungry, my speech and charisma have been hurt. My speech is all the way down to 1. Holy crap. And my charisma is all the way down to 5. Which I believe my charisma was at 10. And after I started getting into fights and stuff, when my clothes started getting raggedy, my speech went down to 6. I think it was at 7 or 8. Oh, my shirt went down to 22. So it's close to breaking. Wrong button. Food. Let's see, the apple. Here we go. Yeah, durability 5 days. Oh, bread's 4 days. Cheese is 5 days. Oh, the whatever the lentil mash, whatever that is, that's only good for 2 days. So yeah, let's go ahead and eat that, obviously. What did that do for my nourishment? Nothing? Or was my nourishment at 0? Oh yeah, you see when I was telling you get the itis right there, roast duck, nourishment 26, energy -6. So it fills you up, but it tires you out. So I'm trying to, what was my nourishment at before I ate that mash? Or did it only give me 9? I'll have to figure it out. Or have to look at the footage later to see. Oh wow, my energy's all the way down to 15. But my nourishment's up to 87, so that's good.
How ill-mannered.
What's ill-mannered? You talking to me?
Oh, Jesus. I could really do with some sleep.
See if we can talk to this guy still. No? So I guess I lost my chance to talk to him? Alright. Is this the courtyard they were talking about? I hope so. Oh. We got a bed. If you are tired, your stamina and eloquence will also gradually decrease. Sleep is the solution. Find an available bed, which you'll recognize from the icon on the compass. Sit on it with X, launch sleep with X, and set how long you want to sleep. Okay. Alright, so let's get some sleep. What's that little book? Sleep, inventory, get up. No, go to sleep. You ain't gonna close your door? That's my fault. How long do you want to sleep? Okay. So I'm trying to figure out what the circle is. It's is that just certain times a day? I mean, okay, yeah, it just marks night, morning, and then midday. Oh, you can't sleep past. Can't sleep past 12 hours. So it takes 9 hours just to get it back up to 100%. That's also going to drop my nourishment down to 67. So that's a pretty cool mechanic. Even when you're sleeping, you need, before you go to sleep, you need to make sure you have enough food, or else you'll wake up starving. Now, I wonder if they'll cut your sleep off early, like once your nourishment hits 0, if you automatically wake up. But yeah, let's go ahead and sleep for that long. I mean, it'll give me maximum energy, and I still have some food to get my nourishment back up from out of 67, or I think it would be enough to get back up to the 80s. So let's go ahead and do that, and hopefully it'll save, because I can't play much longer.
Today the patrols will be doubled. Keep your eyes peeled. If you see anything out of the ordinary, report it immediately. Understood? Yes, sir.
I forgot to take my boots off.
Yes?
It is I, Henry. Forgive the intrusion. I didn't wake you, boy, did I?
My lady, no, not at all. But what brings you here at this hour?
I thought you could do with a little wine. It's just what you need to help you sleep.
My lady, thank you. You really shouldn't. You could have sent a servant.
I was going to, but to tell you the truth, I couldn't sleep either. I thought of you while saying my prayers. How awful it must have been for you. I came to offer you solace, to let you know you're not alone.
Thank you. Thank you kindly.
You're welcome. Now, Henry,
Whoa.
I know this is all very new and strange for you. But I want you to feel at home here. You're not to worry about anything except getting better. God knows you've been through a terrible ordeal. I know what it is to be left alone in the world, although your loss is much greater. But with God's help, the pain will ease in time. And it can help to talk about it, if you feel like it.
She wants the D. That's why she's there. She's gonna get me hung. I just can't talk about it or tell the story. Yeah, let's tell the story.
You might be right, my lady. I'll tell you what happened. It was terrible and unexpected. The day started just like any other. Father sent me into town on some errands.
Oh, it's timed.
A fellow by the name of Kunish owed money to Father, who sent me to collect it from him. Only Kunish had no intention of paying. It got a bit heated, as often happens when there's money involved, but Kunish still wouldn't cough up the coin. Father was too generous for his own good, letting even a scoundrel like that buy on credit.
Oh.
When I'd done all the errands, I headed back home. I promised Father I'd help him with his work, and I was looking forward to it. He was forging a sword for Sir Radzig. The sword was taking shape when Sir Radzig himself came to have a look at it. He praised Father's work and said that with his smithing skills, he could easily make a living in Prague or Vienna.
You don't say.
But Sigismund's horde was already on the horizon, ready to attack the town. A horde of soldiers was amassed. Pennants flapped in the wind, the armour glinted in the sunlight, and the horses whinnied impatiently. They were waiting for Sigismund to give the command to attack.
How awful.
And then death descended on Skalitz.
Wow, that's a lot. Folk fled to the castle, saw him kill my girl. They did? But he fell.
Father told me to take shelter in the castle while he went to get Mother. She was stranded in the town, surrounded by Sigismund's butchers. And then I saw him knocking down one Cuman after another. I never saw him fight like that. But then the leader of Sigismund's raiding party, a knight in full armour, saw Father and charged at him. But then the leader of Sigismund's raiding party, a knight in full armour, saw Father and charged at him. He cut down my father without a thought. And then he turned on my mother. And he murdered her in cold blood.
You poor boy. May the Lord have mercy on their souls.
I ran to the castle like our neighbours to take cover, but I didn't make it. I had to find another way to save myself. The men on the battlements called down to me to flee to Talmberg and warn you. I was lucky I knew a concealed path around the castle.
Plundering a village.
I needed a horse to get to the safety of Talmberg and to warn you all.
And with all that was happening, you thought of others like a good Christian.
Then I heard a scream. It was Teresa, the mill wench. She'd been caught by a gang of Cuman savages who planned to violate her. I had Sir Radzig's sword, and even though there were several of them and they were better armed, I had to try and save her. I wanted there to be at least one person I'd helped. And I succeeded, even though it almost cost me my life. After that, I stole a horse from them and rode off.
Like a valiant knight.
I'll never forget the horror. It will haunt me for the rest of my life.
You learned women in the Middle Ages?
It's terrible. How could something like that happen?
God alone knows why he lets such things happen.
Oh, you poor boy. I understand your grief, but God is not to blame for the ills of this world. That is the work of Satan and those who do his bidding. Those who are corrupted by greed, envy, and pride. You must not lose faith, whatever life brings. Fate has not been merciful to me, and my husband either. Although in comparison to the horrors you went through. I was young when I married my husband. It was my father's wish. Divish was a lot older than I, but a woman must bear her lot. Shortly after our marriage, before I even got a look at Talmberg, the castle was stormed and my husband was imprisoned.
Really?
My husband had some quarrel with Sir Havel Medek of Valdek, who decided to resolve it by force. He stormed the castle, burned down the village of Pribyslavitz, and killed many of our men, even the old chamberlain. He imprisoned my husband in the castle and put his own garrison there.
That's awful.
I was barely 18 years old, and all of a sudden, I was left alone with Sir Robert. We didn't know what to do. We went to Prague to appeal to the king and sought help from Divish's friends, but all to no avail. We tried for years, but it seemed I was destined to be left alone and my husband to rot in jail in his own castle.
Years, you say?
7 years. That's how long it took before Havel was condemned as an enemy of the crown. And even then, he refused to surrender the castle and release my husband. In the end, I raised the money to pay a ransom and only then, by the grace of Lord Jesus, did I finally lay eyes on my husband once more.
7 years. And was Harville punished for it?
Never. And after 7 years, my husband returned to me an infirm old man.
Sir Divish seems like a good, strong man.
Certainly, only he has many concerns. He had to rebuild Talmberg. After he was released, the king appointed him Burgrave of Prague Castle, and he was very busy. He had no time for me at all. But at least we were in the city, and there was something going on. And now, we're here.
My lady, you're still young and beautiful. Your best years are still ahead of you.
Would that were true, lad. Would it were true. But what am I doing bothering you with this? You have troubles enough of your own. I'll go and let you sleep. I enjoyed our little talk, Henry. Good night, and God bless.
Good night, my lady.
I learned more about women in the Middle Ages. What the hell? But it seems that some cutscenes are CGI and others aren't.
Move in, people! Come on! Come on! We're running out of time! Quickly!
Like that.
We have to close the gates! You can't go back! Henry, help us! Oh!
Help us, son. Don't be a coward.
That's an effed up dream.
Henry, wake up. You don't want to miss this.
What is it? What's happening?
Come to the battlements. One of our patrols reported a company heading here from Skalitz.